Prepares for a historic poll.
And joining us now is Tsepiso Makwetla, who is in Bulawayo, and she joins us now. A very good evening to you, Tsepiso. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope we'll get her about. There we go. Tsepiso, thank you so much for joining us. I hope and believe that it's all systems go. Zimbabwe is ready to go to the polls in just 2 days' time.
Simpiwe, thank you very much. Well, if you're to believe what the ZEC says, the state of readiness is pretty much at a final stage. We see political parties also launching their final campaigns. We've got two big campaigns that are set to take place here in Bulawayo tomorrow by the MDC and ZANU-PF. And in the midst of that, what the team here in Bulawayo, the SABC team, has been doing is really zeroing in on the various constituencies. Earlier on, when we were speaking to our colleague Francis Heard, we spoke about the gender dynamic, and now we want to look at rural communities. If you look at coverage of Zimbabwe, there's been very little in terms of targeted focus of these communities, marginalized communities, and if you look at the stats, it suggests that about 67% of Zimbabwe's entire population is in the rural areas. So we talk a little bit more about that. We have with us here the president of the Mqondisi Republic Party, that is Mqondisi Moyo, to talk to us about the rural community. What exactly is it that they're looking for, and are political parties addressing that? Mr. Moyo, a very, very good evening to you, and thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Do rural voters have a voice, just in terms of the manifestos that political parties in general have put out?
Thank you very much, Tsepiso. Thank you very much to the listeners. Indeed, rural voters don't have a voice as far as the issue of determining what they are supposed to do is concerned. Most of our people in rural areas have been neglected so much by the government from 1980 to date, whereby the political parties just use them to garner votes, but in terms of delivering, in terms of development and other issues that affect them in their communities, these political parties tend to run away from them and then think about them in the next election.
Just give us a profile of the rural voter or the marginalized communities that we are speaking about here. What is it that they want?
Thank you very much. We have got issues which pertains to, should I say, development in terms of either should it be roads and the other issues, schools, clinics and what have you. You find that most of our rural areas, especially in Matwele, where we have got a big following, these people have got no access to good hospitals, they've got no access to schools and good roads networks. As a result of that, from 1980 to date, the government of ZANU-PF have been neglecting our people in failing to develop their communities, only to see the government going to them to seek for votes only, but not developing their areas.
Let's talk about cultural sensitivities, which is a sense that I've gotten from quite a lot of the people here in Bulawayo when they complain that government, not only through its proposals, but what needs to be done for Zimbabweans, especially in Bulawayo, to move forward and really buy into this new and improved brand Zimbabwe.
Thank you very much. It will be difficult for us, especially here as people of Matwele and Mtwagazi, to talk much about the government, these initiatives in terms of even developing their culture and other issues, because we have got a unique challenges as people of this area, whereby whatever problems that we are facing, we feel and strongly believe that they were created by the government from 1980 to date. No wonder why you see that some of these people in our areas are even failing to really practice their cultures in an orderly manner, just because the government of the day from 1980 to date has failed the communities by not respecting their cultures and other aspects that affect them in their daily lives.
Specifically, what are you referring to? Are you talking about language? Are you talking about land dispossession?
I'm talking about language and culture as well as the issues of land and other, should I say, issues surrounding our communities, you find that our language has been so much destroyed by the current government, to the effect that even in the schools, at lower education, like in primary schools, our children are being taught by non-Ndebele speaking teachers who, at the end of the day, are not conversant with the local languages and the cultures of the area. At the end of the day, you find that the cultures of the local people are being distorted or destroyed by the people who are not conversant with the languages which are spoken in those areas.
And when we talk about schools, when we talk about language, obviously there's a convergence, especially in terms of history and curriculum. Is that taught in schools, especially when we talk about Lobengula, who he was, and where the seat of power is in Bulawayo in terms of State House?
Thank you very much. That is so much interesting. Our history has been distorted so much to the extent that our children are being taught lies through this history of Zimbabwe, by King Lobengula is portrayed by the history books of Zimbabwe, or by the government of Zimbabwe, as somebody who betrayed the people, during the white colonial era. But we know that King Lobengula was a fighter. He had warriors. He's the only person who managed to stand against the colonizers and fought gallantly with them up to the point when it disappeared on the 4th of November 1893. So as a result of that, our children are being taught distorted history, whereby our peoples are being regarded as people who are cowards and things like that.
Just listening to some of the solutions that are being proffered, not only by the various political parties, but the people who say they want better livelihoods. I'm talking about the current day, now and here. They are concerned about jobs, they're concerned about ability to provide for their children or grandchildren. So I'm wondering, a political party such as yours, the Mqondisi Republic Party, how do you make it relevant to young people? What are you saying you're offering them for a better Zimbabwe?
Thank you very much. You find that Mqondisi is rich with all natural resources that you can think of. We talk of natural resources like gold, tourist attraction centers and things like that. We have got even Bedford Porter Post, which gives us $2 million per day, and that is $60 million per month. So at the end of the day, that money is taken away to Harare, which is the capital of this country, and the locals of that area do not benefit anything from their own local resources. So we are simply saying that as Mqondisi Republic Party, we want to take the political power back to our people, whereby people from their local areas will determine on how they are going to access and use their resources to the betterment of their lives. But currently, the setup of the government, which is there from 1980 to date, has been denying or depriving our people their resources or access to their resources in terms of how they are supposed to use them. Almost everything that is collected by the government from this area is taken to develop Harare or Mashonaland, but this area is just left without development.
What are you suggesting to resolve some of those challenges?
Thank you very much. Most people are talking about devolution of power, of which we think that devolution of power is not enough as long as the current government does not realize that, first things first, political power has to be taken back to the peoples who can determine how their affairs are supposed to be managed. Because devolution of power without, political power, political will is useless to our people.
Are you getting any resonance with any of the political parties? There's an assumption, for instance, in Matebele land, at least from media coverage and from pundits, that you would be closer in association or in agreement in terms of the direction of this country with the MDC, for instance.
Very much. To us, MDC Alliance and ZANU-PF are birds of the same feathers. They are pursuing to what we can call or tell the world is the 1979 grand system, whereby these two parties want to always play a big brother mentality, whereby they always treat our people as second-class citizens. No wonder why, even if they wanted us to have an agreement or a coalition with them, we refuse, because we know that they are just as good as ZANU-PF. They will not be in a position to deliver for our people. And that's the reason why we took a stand to go it alone as Mtwaga's Republic Party, because we understand that our problems of Matabeleland are unique. They are different from these other provinces in this country of Zimbabwe.
There are those who say there's a new dispensation. ED Emmerson Mnangagwa has come with a promise, or at least he's trying to improve the lot of Zimbabweans, that he should be given a chance, that he should be heard. Have you as a party, as the MRP, tried to appeal to the sensitivities of the president?
Emmerson Mnangagwa is not a new dispensation. We know that he was serving under the government of Robert Mugabe from 1980 up to date. In fact, from this side, we know Emmerson Mnangagwa as the architect of the 1983-87 genocide, which claimed more than 20,000 lives of our people. At the end of the day, we remember even one day he said, our peoples are like cockroaches who need DTT. And true to his words, the following day, called Lupani, 55 people died. So to us, Emmerson Mnangagwa is not in fact, we regard him as a coup president, because he is not legitimate. He was not put there by people, but he was put there by the military.
Mqondisi Moyo is the president of the Mtwaga's Republic Party, really bemoaning the fact that certain communities
was SABC reporter Tsepiso Makwetla joining us live from Bulawayo in Zimbabwe.